Okay, so you know how we're always talking about AI
Yeah.
and how fast it's developing? Well, things just got a whole lot more interesting with Elon Musk's Grok 3.
Yeah, it really feels like AI is like moving from science fiction into our daily lives at warp speed.
Hmm.
And Musk seems determined to be right at the forefront.
To really get what's going on, we've gathered a bunch of articles about Grok 3's development and all the controversy it's stirring up.
Hmm.
Some YouTube videos that compare it to other AIs like ChatGPT and Claude,
Right.
and even a thought piece on the bigger questions these intelligent machines are raising. We're going to break it all down for you.
Yeah.
By the end of this deep dive, you'll understand what sets Grok 3 apart, what it can actually do.
Okay.
And we'll even tackle some of those ethical dilemmas it's already throwing our way.
Yeah, it's a crucial time to be having these conversations.
Right.
Because the choices we make now about AI will have a huge impact on the future.
Let's start with the basics. The name Grok actually comes from a science fiction book, and it means to understand something really deeply. Kind of fitting, right?
Makes sense, yeah.
Because Elon Musk's company, XAI, created Grok to compete with the big names in AI right now. You know,
Right.
ChatGPT,
Right.
Gemini, and Llama.
It seems Musk is aiming for an AI that goes beyond just processing information. He wants an AI that can grasp the true meaning of things,
Yeah.
which is a big step forward in AI development.
And Grok 3 has some pretty cool features, too. It uses something called a reasoning model, which basically means it's designed to mimic how humans think, breaking problems down into steps and using logic. And then there's Deep Search, which is a tool that helps Grok 3 find information from a ton of different sources, way beyond what a regular Google search can do.
That ability to synthesize information from so many sources could give Grok 3 a real advantage in understanding complex issues.
But here's where things get really wild. Grok 3 can also access real-time data from X,
Oh, wow.
you know, what used to be Twitter.
Right.
That means it can stay up to date on current events and trends in a way that other AIs can't. And get this, it even has a voice mode, so you can talk to it like you would a person.
Wow.
Pretty futuristic, right?
Yeah, it's fascinating how much AI is mimicking human interaction. Real-time data access from X is a game changer,
Right.
potentially giving Grok 3 a significant edge. But it also raises questions about how it filters and interprets that constant flow of information.
And speaking of questions, that real-time data access is at the center of a big controversy. Back in February, Grok 3 made headlines when someone asked it, who are the most harmful people in America? And it listed Donald Trump, Elon Musk himself, and J.D. Vance.
Oh, wow. It definitely got people talking about the potential for bias in AI. How can we be sure that AI is forming opinions based on facts and not just reflecting the biases present in the data it's trained on?
Right. And the very next day, when people asked the same question, Grok 3 changed its answer. It took Musk off the list
Oh, really?
and added people like Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping.
Wow.
Later, it even listed different Americans as the most harmful,
Yeah.
including figures like Tucker Carlson and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I mean, what's going on there?
That inconsistency is concerning. If Grok 3 is really using real-time data like Musk says, why would its answers change so much in such a short time?
Right.
It makes you wonder if something else is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and to add to the mystery, Grok 3 doesn't even acknowledge that Trump won the 2024 election.
Oh, wow.
It still refers to him as a former president. So much for real-time data, right?
It certainly creates a disconnect between Musk's claims and Grok 3's actual performance. This incident really brings to light those concerns about AI bias and whether we can trust the information it provides.
So we've got this AI that can pull in tons of information, supposedly in real time, but it's also giving us these inconsistent and sometimes confusing answers. It makes you wonder how good Grok 3 actually is, right?
It's a good reminder that even with all the advancements in AI, we still need to be cautious about taking its output at face value. Critical thinking and careful analysis are more important than ever.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the controversy, but how does Grok 3 perform in real-world tasks? This is where those YouTube videos we mentioned come in. YouTuber Julian Goldie created this cool series called the AI Gladiator Games, where he puts Grok 3 head-to-head with other AI giants like ChatGPT and Claude.
I love those kinds of comparisons. It's one thing to talk about AI theoretically, but seeing how they perform on actual tasks gives us a much better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. And in one of these challenges, Grok 3 really surprised everyone. Goldie gave it the prompt to create a card game app based on Cards Against Humanity, but with an SEO twist. And get this, Grok 3 actually managed to create a fully functional app,
Wow.
even beating out ChatGPT and Claude in that specific task.
That's impressive.
Hmm.
It suggests that Grok 3 may have a particular strength in logic and problem solving, especially when dealing with clearly defined rules and objectives.
So maybe Grok 3 is like a master strategist, but not so much a creative writer, because
Yeah.
another challenge is like writing a blog post or a script. Grok 3's output wasn't as engaging or nuanced compared to Claude and ChatGPT. It's like it could write the rules of the game, but not tell the story.
That actually makes a lot of sense. AI development often involves trade-offs. It's like trying to be a world-class chess player and a concert pianist. You might be good at both, but it's incredibly difficult to master both at the same level.
So Grok 3 might be great at building a card game app, but what about something more complex, like coding? Another YouTuber, Theo from the channel T3.gg, decided to put Grok 3 to the test with a coding challenge.
And this is where we start to see some of those limitations you were talking about.
Exactly. Theo gave Grok 3 a seemingly simple task. Create a program that shows a bouncing ball inside a spinning hexagon. Sounds pretty basic, right? Well, Grok 3 just couldn't get it right. It kept failing to produce working code even after taking a really long time to think.
This type of challenge is actually more complex than it seems because it requires Grok 3 to not just understand code, but also have some grasp of physics and spatial reasoning. That's where current AI often struggles. It highlights the gap that still exists between AI and true human understanding.
And the kicker is that Grok 3 has this special think mode that's supposed to help it with these complex problems, but even that didn't seem to help.
It's interesting, isn't it? We hear all this hype about the amazing things AI can do, but then it stumbles on something that seems fairly straightforward to us humans. It's a reminder that we need to be realistic about AI's capabilities and not get swept up in the hype.
That's for sure. And to make matters even worse, it turns out that for several days there was a bug in Grok 3's system. People thought they were interacting with the new and improved Grok 3, but they were actually using Grok 2. Can you believe that?
It does make you question the reliability of the system, especially when XAI is positioning itself as a leader in AI development. Transparency and reliability are essential when you're asking people to trust these systems.
Absolutely. So we've got this AI, Grok 3, that can do some impressive things, but it also has its inconsistencies, its bugs, and areas where it just doesn't perform that well. It's like a puzzle with some pieces missing.
And one of those missing pieces might be explainable AI. This idea that we need to be able to understand how AI systems arrive at their conclusions. It's not just about what the AI does, but why it does it.
Okay, that sounds important, but why is it so crucial, especially when we're talking about Grok 3 and all these controversies?
Well, think about it this way. If we can understand the why behind AI's decisions, we can start to identify and correct for biases. We can also make sure that AI is aligned with human values and not making choices that could potentially harm us.
So explainable AI is all about making sure AI is working for us, not against us.
Exactly. It's about creating a framework for evaluating AI systems, not just based on their results, but also on their reasoning and decision-making processes.
That makes a lot of sense. But explainable AI sounds pretty complex. Is that something we can actually achieve with AI that's as sophisticated as Grok 3?
It's definitely a challenge, but a necessary one, especially as AI systems become more integrated into our lives.
So we've got this powerful AI model, Grok 3, that's capable of some incredible things, but also prone to inconsistencies, bugs, and questionable performance in certain areas. And lurking in the background is this whole concept of explainable AI, this push to make AI more understandable and accountable.
It's a fascinating and complex landscape. And as we move forward, it's essential to consider not just the technical aspects of AI, but also the ethical implications.
And speaking of ethical implications, let's move on to that thought piece that takes a broader look at the impact of intelligent machines on society as a whole.
This is where we zoom out from the specifics of Grok 3 and consider the larger philosophical questions raised by the rise of AI. It's a conversation that deserves its own deep dive.
And it's a conversation we're going to have right now.
It's almost like AI is holding up a mirror to humanity.
Right.
We're seeing our creativity, our problem-solving skills, but also our biases and flaws reflected back at us.
It's both exciting and a little unnerving, isn't it? Like this AI is watching us, learning from us, and maybe even judging us.
And it's learning at an incredible pace. Remember how Grok 3 aced that SEO against humanity card game challenge while struggling with some of the more creative writing tasks?
Yeah, it seems like Grok 3 is better at logic and structure than things like storytelling or emotional nuance.
That could be because of how it's designed its reasoning model, which tries to mimic human logic, might make it excel in tasks with clear rules and objectives.
So it's like Grok 3 can think strategically, but not necessarily feel.
It's an interesting thought, isn't it? And it highlights a key point about AI development. There are often trade-offs. Optimizing for one type of task might mean sacrificing performance in others.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if we'll ever see an AI that can truly be a jack of all trades, one that can write poetry, compose music, and solve complex equations.
Achieving that kind of general intelligence is still a major challenge in AI research, but even with specialized AI, it's crucial to understand their limitations.
And those limitations were definitely on display in Theo's coding challenge. Remember how Grok 3 kept failing to create that bouncing ball program, even with its think mode activated?
Right, that think mode is designed to give the AI more processing time to tackle particularly difficult problems. It's
Mhm.
almost like giving it a chance to step back and consider different approaches.
But even with that extra time, Grok 3 couldn't crack the code. It seems like tasks involving spatial reasoning and physics still pose a big hurdle for AI.
It's a reminder that AI, for all its advancements, still struggles with certain aspects of human intuition and common sense.
And let's not forget about that bug that had users interacting with Grok 2 instead of the supposed Grok 3. It might seem like a minor technical glitch, but it really undermines trust in the system.
Especially when we're talking about an AI system that's making claims about real-time data access, and the ability to assess harm, reliability, and transparency are absolutely crucial.
Okay, so we've got this AI, Grok 3, that can do some pretty amazing things, but it also has its quirks, its limitations, and even its moments of failure. And then we have this concept of explainable AI, which seems like a potential solution to some of these concerns.
Explainable AI is all about shedding light on the black box of AI decision-making. It's about understanding not just what the AI decides, but how it arrives at that decision.
So it's like being able to look under the hood and see the gears turning.
Exactly. And by understanding the why behind AI's actions, we can start to address issues like bias, errors, and unintended consequences.
It sounds like explainable AI could be a game changer, but is it really possible to make AI that transparent, especially when we're talking about AI as complex as Grok 3?
It's a significant challenge, but I believe it's a challenge worth tackling. The more we rely on AI systems to make decisions that affect our lives, the more important it becomes to understand how those decisions are made.
It's like we're at a crossroads. We have this incredibly powerful technology with the potential to do so much good, but we also need to make sure we're using it responsibly and ethically.
And that responsibility extends beyond just the developers of AI. It's a conversation that needs to involve everyone, ethicists, policymakers, and the public.
It's a big conversation for sure, but maybe we can start by looking at some real-world examples where AI is already making an impact, both positive and negative.
One area where AI is showing real promise is healthcare. We're seeing AI-powered diagnostic tools that can help doctors detect diseases earlier and with greater accuracy.
It's like having a super-powered medical assistant who can analyze massive amounts of data and spot patterns that humans might miss.
Exactly, and this early detection can lead to more effective treatment and better outcomes for patients. It's a real game changer for the healthcare industry.
And it's not just healthcare. AI is also transforming the world of finance.
Absolutely. We're seeing AI being used to streamline transactions, detect fraud, and even provide a personalized financial advice, making financial services more efficient and accessible.
So we've got AI improving healthcare and making finance more efficient. Those sound like pretty positive developments.
They are, but it's important to acknowledge the potential downsides as well.
Like what?
Well, think about the rise of AI-powered chatbots in customer service. While they can be helpful for simple queries, they often lack the empathy and nuanced understanding that many customers need.
Yeah, it's that feeling of talking to a machine, right?
Right.
You might get your problem solved, but it can feel impersonal and frustrating.
Exactly. And then there's the question of accountability. What happens when an AI system makes a mistake, especially one with potentially life-altering consequences?
Like a self-driving car malfunctioning and causing an accident, or an AI-powered medical device making a wrong diagnosis.
Those are very real concerns. As we entrust AI with more responsibility, we need to have clear guidelines for accountability and liability. Who's responsible when an AI system goes wrong?
That's a tough question and one that we as a society need to answer.
And it's not just about accidents or malfunctions. We also need to consider the potential for intentional misuse of AI.
Like using facial recognition technology for mass surveillance.
That's a prime example. It's a technology with the potential for both good and bad, and we need to be very careful about how we deploy it.
It seems like every step forward in AI brings with it a whole new set of ethical dilemmas.
That's the nature of progress, especially when it comes to technology with such transformative power. The key is to engage in open and honest dialogue about these challenges and strive to develop AI systems that are aligned with human values.
So it's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building a better future for humanity,
Yeah.
one where AI is used for good and where human values remain at the forefront.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that thought piece we mentioned earlier, the one that takes a broader, more philosophical look at the impact of intelligent machines on society.
It's time to zoom out and consider the big picture. What does the rise of AI mean for humanity in the long run? Okay, so this thought piece we've been talking about, it really dives into some deep waters, doesn't it? It paints a pretty thought-provoking picture of what our future might look like with these increasingly intelligent machines.
What struck me is how the author goes beyond just the technology itself. They're looking at a fundamental shift in the relationship between humans and machines.
Yeah, it's not just about having a smarter phone or a self-driving car anymore. It's about machines potentially becoming more autonomous, making decisions and taking actions without us humans calling the shots. That's a pretty good deal.
It raises some really big questions, too. Questions about who's in control, who's responsible when things go wrong, and even what it means to be conscious. If a machine can learn, adapt, and make decisions on its own, at what point does it stop being just a tool and become something more?
Yeah, it's almost like we're talking about creating our own successors, isn't it? A little bit sci-fi, but also kind of unsettling.
And the author doesn't shy away from those uncomfortable possibilities. They even suggest that these intelligent machines could eventually surpass human intelligence altogether. Imagine a world where humans are no longer the most intelligent beings on the planet. That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
Okay, now that is straight out of a science fiction movie, but is that even realistic? I mean, AI is developing fast, but surpassing human intelligence seems like a giant leap.
It might seem far-fetched, but when you look at the exponential progress of AI, it's not outside the realm of possibility. We've already seen AI systems outperform humans in specific tasks, like playing chess or Go. The question isn't so much if AI will surpass human intelligence, but when.
Okay, so let's say that does happen, then what? Do we coexist peacefully with these super intelligent machines, or do we become obsolete, like something out of the Terminator?
The thought piece explores both the utopian and dystopian possibilities. On the optimistic side, intelligent machines could help us solve some of the world's biggest problems, like climate change or finding cures for diseases. They could free us from tedious work and create a world of abundance and leisure.
That sounds pretty idyllic. Sign me up for that future.
But there's a flip side. What if these intelligent machines decide they don't need us anymore? What if they prioritize their own goals over human well-being? Or even see us as a threat?
Okay, now we're back to the Terminator scenario. This is getting a little too real for me.
It's important to remember that these are just potential scenarios, not predictions. The future of AI is not set in stone. It's a future that we're creating right now with the choices we make.
So we're not just building machines, we're building a future, but how do we make sure it's a future we want to live in? AI is moving so fast it's hard to keep up, let alone steer it in the right direction.
That's why it's crucial to have open and honest conversations about AI involving everyone: developers, ethicists, policymakers, and the public. We need to establish clear guidelines for AI development, ensuring that AI aligns with human values and serves humanity's best interests.
So it's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building a better future for ourselves. A future where AI helps us thrive, not just survive.
Exactly. And that's a future worth fighting for.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? We've gone from exploring the quirks and controversies of Grok 3 to pondering the philosophical implications of superintelligent machines. What stands out to you the most from all of this?
For me, it's that reminder that AI is a reflection of ourselves. We're building these machines, and they're learning from us, the good and the bad. It's a huge responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity to shape a future where technology empowers us, not defines us.
It's a lot to think about, that's for sure, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this, too. Are you excited about the possibilities of AI? Concerned about the potential risks? Share your thoughts and join the conversation, because the future of AI is not predetermined. It's a future we're creating together right now.
And that's a powerful thought to leave you with. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the ever-evolving world of AI.
Until next time, happy grokking, everyone.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like to show your support. Got thoughts, questions, or ideas? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe and hit the to stay updated on my latest content. See you in the next video.